Welcome back. This is the continuation of a conversation about parenting and safe parenting when it comes to social media. And I'm joined by a very beautiful lady who is also a mom of boys, and she's an author. Like, she is the only person doing a children's magazine in this country, and some very interesting books about herself and what she has learned along the way. And so she's going to walk us through all that. And there's a lot of laughter and emotions, but Maria, Maria, this is, these are the days I'm like, I don't even want the cameras near me, because we just connect on a very, very wonderful level. And when it comes to parenting, also very few people could share our ideologies, because I feel like our parenting approach is very, very similar. Like at the beginning I said, I've made peace with the fact that technology is here to stay.
Yeah.
And the only way to deal with it is to make peace with it and curate it such that your children are exposed to the right material. How is that for you? Or can you walk us through every stage and what should be expected for a parent in terms of the exposure they give their children?
The first thing I always say when it comes to technology, first understand that every child is different.
Yeah.
Parents don't acknowledge that. I learned that with my kids because with my firstborn, I didn't have to worry about that. And up to today, I tell you, my 5-year-old, I'll give him the remote and I can walk out of the room and I'm fine. Because to him, anything that interests him is either alphabets.
Yes.
There's this show called Alpha Blocks, whereby Alpha Blocks, you see, such things, for your child to watch, you're like,
yes,
it's good. Actually, he learned to read before he learned to talk.
Yes.
So such things, there are things that you don't, every child is different.
Yeah.
But with my second-born, Alpha Blocks is an enemy. It's an enemy.
So there's always that fight.
There's always
between
that.
them.
So every child is different. However, I always tell parents this.
Yes.
If you know that you have inappropriate content in your phone, first of all, put 20 passwords and make, but they're smart. One day they'll figure that out.
They do. They always do.
They always do. So it's like, before you say you're protecting your kids, how safe are you as a person? Because I can be here saying that I'll protect my kids. One day I leave my phone down.
Yeah.
Whatever I watch is what they will go after.
It's true.
And then there's this, technology is here to stay. But why don't you make other things fun too? Like, how do you spend time with them?
Yeah.
What do you do? What activities do you engage in? Make them see that screen time is not the only thing that is there.
Yeah.
If you do that with your children, you realize that they even know what they're choosing.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I cook with my children.
Yes.
So if right now there's a cooking show going on, they'll be curious.
Yes.
Because whatever I've exposed them to in real life, if they get the extent of it in a technology, it's a fine thing.
Very true.
But if you give your children freedom to raise themselves, this thing they say that put parental control, control the sites they can visit, people do that.
Yeah.
And it works for some.
Yeah.
But there are children who are smart enough to know that bundles are not doing that for me.
Yeah.
Your Wi-Fi is, but bundles doing the same.
Yeah.
So you're not with your children 24 hours. Another child is telling them things.
Yeah.
The neighbor's child is playing with them.
Yeah.
In school, a class of 20, all these 20 are doing different things.
Yeah.
So it's for you as a parent to create a relationship whereby your kids can trust you enough. Like, for me, I am this believer of, if your child shows you interest, push that interest. But no child will ever show you an interest of watching, of being idle.
Yeah.
There is no child.
Yeah.
Like, we associate sitting there and watching TV the whole day as being idle.
Yeah.
No child shows you that.
True.
But if you're absent, that's what they'll do.
It's true.
Now, instead of learning how to do this, they will be watching how to do that. But that's not how it should be.
Yeah.
So you find that, like, for example, your son takes the book and read it. Me, I realize that my son loves reading. Do you know the games I play with him? Spelling games.
Nice.
I love that.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
anytime I notice he's bored, I'll be like, spell the word, and then he'll be like, Mommy, now it's your turn, spell the word.
Wow.
I know I can spell every word he gives me,
Yeah.
but I like challenging him with bigger words, until the day he spelled the word difficult for me. I was humbled.
That is so amazing.
Because as a parent, I've realized this is what you love. So what do? I want to encourage you to not watch how it's done and do it yourself.
Yeah.
The reason why we as parents, we are scared of technology, and the reason why our kids are getting lost in technology is because our kids are not doing what they love. They are watching what they love. And as a parent, when you realize your kid is watching cooking show, why don't you switch off the TV and cook?
Yeah.
Because there are things that they even these cartoons, only that. And let me tell you, this is an advice to anyone there, who, even if you're not a parent, whatever child watches around you, please be sure you know what they're watching. Nowadays, there are a lot of things hidden in cartoons.
Oh my goodness, yes.
People don't know that.
Yes.
There are a lot of things hidden in cartoons.
Yeah.
And you tend to think that it's just cartoon. No. It's nothing.
It's a tool to program them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you to have, if you switch off your TV or you if you have activities with your children, and our kids are not getting lost in technology because they want to. No. Sometimes you're also lost in it.
True.
You're always on your phone when they're next to you. Yeah. So they'll think this is the right thing. And by the virtue that their job is to absorb, they're absorbing what you're showing them. And then as parents, I always call them foolish parents who think that, wow, he's doing this, he loves TV, now he'll work on TV. That's not the case. The case is there's something he loves that he's watching. Do it. And you know, technology is a good thing. Yeah. And it's fast. But are you aware that our kids are not that fast? We're just forcing them to be. Because even as adults, it's hard for us.
It's true, it is.
Have you ever seen someone, there's this advert, how many levels of Candy Crush are there? that is going on so much. But there's an adult mwenye anajiona niko level 120.
It's true.
But there are how many? 12,000.
Yeah.
Are you for real going to give those whole hours to Candy Crush? But as adults, we've not learned to control ourselves, tell ourselves, uko level 120 na umecheza for 3 days. But you're not telling ourselves that, yet you want our children to tell themselves, okay, you know, I can put my... They can't. It comes from you.
True.
Yeah.
I love that. You know, the more you're talking, the more I'm like, oh, I reflect, and I love how you've said you play games with what they love, and that is just integration of what you do on a day-to-day activities. It's not like you sit down with them and say, okay, let's do a spelling game. No, it comes out of anywhere.
I'll be cooking and then he's there and then I'm like, now you're the one who's going to wash the rice for me. When you're washing, can you spell the word rice?
Oh, look at that.
I'm telling you, that child will go to bed happy because he spent the day with mommy. He doesn't know that I was busy. Yeah. Because I was communicating with him. And I wasn't on my phone. There's this thing whereby I put if my child is talking to me, I'll put my phone down until he's done talking. But you know, you'll find your child is talking to you and then... So to him, that's not attention.
It's true. And it switches up very fast.
And let me tell you, try giving them love and attention. And the day they do something wrong, just tell them, you know what, whatever you did was not okay. I was not happy. They will not want to lose their best friend.
It's true.
They will not want. But you're not present. You're telling me I did something wrong. But I've done it for a month. You just noticed it today.
Exactly.
You've been on your phone when I'm doing it on your face. So sometimes the technology that affects our children comes from our absence. Yes. Yeah. And you see, when I was starting the Young Magazine, this is a story I love giving. People were like, we have our phones, give us in digital format. And I said, I rather close down the business than give you parents a digital version of the magazine. Reason being, I'm trying to help your children do an activity away from screen. And now you are asking me to put it in on the screen. That's not right. It's not okay because I want to be the one different person. Because even their homework is sent on screen. Everything is on screen. Can I be the one different person who will just take your children away from that screen? Even if it's for 10 minutes that they'll be filling a puzzle. Or for 5 minutes they'll be practicing the recipe that is there. I want to be that one person who is going to make fun out of your child. Like, let your childhood be about the activities you did as a child away from the screen.
This conversation is so beautiful because it's also challenging me. There are things I used to love doing, and with technology, it all jumped off, you know, off my mind. And one of the things I loved doing when you talk about puzzles. There's this number puzzle. It's called Sudoku.
Yes,
Sudoku.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I've already made a mental note. I'm going to pass by somewhere, pick as many newspapers as I can, so that when the boys are doing their homework, I'm also doing, you know, just refreshing my mind. And also, I think technology can also be very toxic. And how you know it's toxic is when you spend time away from social media, you feel so refreshed. You're like, whew.
Yeah.
It's like going for a mini holiday, you know, out there. But thank you. For me, like I said, this is a very personal conversation. I'm picking the little gems you're dropping. All right, so can we now talk about age-appropriate content? Could you break down for us in terms of age?
Wow. You know, I remember with my firstborn,
Yeah.
I think I did screen early, but thank God he doesn't like
He
screen.
doesn't like it.
With my second,
Yeah.
I'm so happy with the nanny I have. I always say that.
Yeah.
Because she was not using screen to distract the child. You know, sometimes we are blaming our children, but we don't know what happens when you're away. Someone is using screen to distract the child, and you don't know.
Yeah.
My child from 0 to 2 did not have an idea. Right now that he's 2, that's when he started having an idea of, now there's this program, there's this. In fact, he learned the word TV last week. He didn't know what was happening. He didn't have the idea. Because I feel like 0 to 2, this is a child that does not know. Like, the job of a 0 to 2 is reach milestones.
True.
That is what a 0 to 2-year-old is doing.
Yeah.
Just reaching milestones. Did I eat on time? Did I know how to self-feed? Did I walk? Did I learn to speak a few words? But a lot of kids are singing all Cocomelon songs, but they don't know who mommy is.
True.
A lot of kids out here have British English.
True. Thanks to Peppa Pig.
But they are not communicating.
It's true.
You know, such things are what made me realize that when it comes to a 0 to 2, can you try as much as possible and
Not to do screen.
not to do screen?
Yeah.
Try as much as possible. And people will be arguing that, you know, this helps them sing and do this. Imagine you can also sing the song.
Yeah.
Imagine these kids will interact with other small children somewhere. I love parents who do play dates. I love that so much. But you know, not everyone is privileged. Parents also have a lot of things. Let's not lie to each other. There's someone somewhere who is like, I'm working, just take the TV so that I can finish cleaning and then do my online jobs, and then maybe I do content and do this content so that there's no time for that. But privileged parents have a lot of way to exercise their privileges. But if you're not privileged, try and keep your child as part of who you are, what you do and how you're doing it. It's not wrong for you to be in the kitchen with your child. Just feel free. Because 0 to 2, their brains have not fully developed to grasp the lots of images, lots of words, lots of everything that is going on. After 2 years, minimum screen time. I always say this because now everyone around them is doing screen. And for me, saying below 2 is because I know there are 9-month-year-olds who cry when you take the phone away.
It's true.
You're taking the phone away, it's war. They are not in that age. After 2 years, can you try and ensure that, and whatever they're watching, you're watching with them at that time, because you know this time you're introducing them to things that they are seeing.
Agreed.
But you don't want them to be consumed by it. But I always say 0 to 5 years, please, if your child is doing 30% of screen, you're doing wrong. The 10% is already much. So even right now, adults, the challenge that is there for you to disappear and grow, the one thing they tell you is stay away from your phone 2 hours before bed. They're tired of telling you stay away from it longer, but now they're telling you 2 hours before bed. Now imagine you're introducing to your child as early as now. And growing up, we did not have phones when we were growing up. And that is what shaped us to know how to tackle challenges or how to deal with issues here and there. The reason why instant gratification is making the suicide rate go high, it's because we've shown our children that even entertainment is not worked for. When is the last time a child alichukua these papers to make a ball? They don't. We buy ready balls and they watch how it's done on TV, then they do it. There's no work done, there's no practice, there's no nothing. So, and you find that in school, there are schools that have embraced computer video games. Actually, there are schools that have embraced that. But that instant gratification comes with mental health issues.
Yeah.
And when they become teenagers, that is when you realize that they were seeing things they've built up, and now you can't control them. It's easier for you to notice your child has anger issue, for you to manage when they're younger, if you put screen away. It's easier for you to understand that saying no to a child makes them react a certain way if you put the screen away.
Yeah.
But if saying no hurts them and then you switch on the TV, you've calmed them.
Yeah.
Saying no tomorrow, calm down.
Yeah.
Saying no. By the time you realize it, now you're not telling them, you're not calming them down.
Yeah.
You're just conditioning them to know that no is wrong for me.
Yeah.
It's not right for you to tell me no.
Yeah.
And screen has conditioned our children to think everything is instant. Technology is there. We know microwaves has done that for us. Fridges are doing that for us. Our phones, everything is doing that for us. Our washing machines. But do we want our children to believe that I must get everything without even a minimum effort of everything? Yeah.
That is such a great point, and I kept thinking of my own way of doing it. And what I've done is I've given the boys freedom to have me and them agree. If they finish a certain task, they can have the screen, but for only half an hour.
Wow.
So what we do is we set the alarm together. You know, where is the clock? Go to the clock, or press Siri. Just say Siri, put the alarm in 30 minutes, and the minute that alarm goes off, they bring their gadgets. They're done. So I think when it comes to again embracing this, it's important to also give them that discipline, where they are able to also curate themselves and say, hey, screen time can't be longer than this time. Apart from those few other
the
exceptions.
one thing about conditioning them that way, it helps you condition them to other things.
Yes.
Like when you tell them now it's meal time.
Yeah, it is meal time.
It's meal time.
Yeah.
Now they've learned discipline, not because of the screen, but because of your involvement as a parent to teach them the discipline of everything in life.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I see it even we traveled recently, and you can imagine after traveling for so long, you're also tired. But my son, we actually arrived at our destination at 1 a.m. But my youngest son was like, I have not brushed my teeth and we have not prayed. And I was very challenged. I said, whoa, it doesn't know how tired I am. Yeah. We have to brush our teeth and pray. Yeah. And you can tell it's just what you teach them.
It's
then
what you teach them.
Screen time with parents. I have a movie night every week, and they like it when we put the mattress on the floor, and sometimes they sleep there. It's a special day to look forward to. And it's always like popcorn has to be available, no other screens. In fact, if I dare touch my phone, no, mommy, you're not supposed to be using your phone. And they look forward to it all the time.
And the movies you're introducing them to will be their favorite.
Exactly.
Even growing up.
Exactly.
And that's why look at the adults of today versus the teenagers of today.
Yep.
It's easier for an adult of right now to watch cartoon.
Yeah.
But teenagers don't even like seeing them.
Yeah.
You see, like for example, growing up, I loved Hannah Montana. And even right now, I binge it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how I can binge. I still binge Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
But that is the show I knew growing up. So that is, but right now, if you ask a teenager what they love watching, you can't watch. You'll be like, the cringe. You'll be like, okay, you're watching
how
that.
How did you get there? Yes.
But right now, because of the conditioning you give your children when it comes to screen, even the movies they select right now, you select for them right now, will be their favorite.
Exactly. And
we just don't know the power of parenting.
That's it.
We don't know.
That's it. And you have to be very present. And like you said at the very beginning, it's your absence that makes them get lost into that. But make it your friend. Like they know, like their tablets, they even know the minute it's prayer time. Yes, they do watch half an hour, for half an hour after dinner. But then we have our routine, and they just know, they don't argue at all. And my little one used to throw a tantrum, and I'm like, no, when time is up, time is up. And now he still struggles, but you tell he can't dare even go another minute.
And he knows I'm not supposed to.
He knows he's not supposed to. But I think with passwords, where so the tablets they use are specifically made for educational purposes, and they have an app that only allows them to access certain information. It's really nice, by the way, if you're interested. And then now there's always a challenge. So one of the challenges is they have to do 2 languages. Unfortunately, you know, I don't have any way to communicate in either Kikuyu or Kiswahili. So, and I can see they're really struggling with Kiswahili in school.
It's a challenge. Mine, imagine he's 5 and he's never spoken a Kiswahili word till today. And I was telling the teacher, how do I make him? He's never, and he's not interested. And that is now a problem, because you know, another thing, you can condition them into things, but language is another thing.
It is so necessary.
In fact, we speak Swahili. It's not like Kiswahili tunaongea. Everyone talks. In fact, at home, me and the dad could be speaking Swahili, and he's there, but he's not even interested. He doesn't even know a single word in Swahili till today. And if you try to teach him, you see how much he's struggling.
Don't worry. It's same as my older one. The small one, he gets it. He gets it.
Actually, salamu ni sasa.
Even Kikuyu, you know, you tell him something and he's like, he has better grasp. But so the only thing they have to do before they go on to watch their things, they spend at least 15 minutes on Duolingo.
Oh, Duolingo.
Yes, and it's the small, you know, it may seem like such small steps, but they're very huge, because it's not a one-off thing. It's not like a 3-month thing. It's a lifetime thing. So I'm like, go to Duolingo, do your Swahili, do your French. And I used to be that parent who was always like, no, why are they doing French? Where are we going? Then somebody gave me advice and said, let them do it, because most African countries and most organizations like the UN, it's a big advantage if you can have dual, you know, languages. And hey, when they're the younger they are, the better. They grasp things quite quick.
Easy. It becomes like just a common language.
And it's a challenge.
And mine are pointies, so Kisi or Kikuyu. I would see one day the dad gets angry and then amesomea mtu na Kikuyu, then the child is like, Dad, what did you just say? Okay, that made me laugh. Like 2 minutes of nothing.
Well, I think we can do better. It's sooner than later. This language
we can do better.
Exotic.
You know, when it comes to children, it's the foundation. The foundation is the most important thing.
Very.
And even when you look at yourself right now, who you are started with the foundation. Whatever you do right now, you grasp, you pick, you do anything, that foundation is what you always go back
to.
Like, no matter how much you get lost, the foundation will still pull you back. And that's why I always say that, you know, I understand. I always feel for these parents who have to, I need to struggle to put a meal on your table. And that's why I'm not here for you all the time. But in my head, I'm like, just put one meal. Don't struggle to buy a lorry or 10 cars right now. Right now, spend your time on that meal, just that meal. Because in 5 years, you'll be like, you're in school, I see you at 4 p.m. So it's morning to 4.
It's true. It's true. Anyway, again, can you believe it? That time is up. So
10 episodes.
as we were, and I feel like it would be very nice if we can come back. We continue this conversation. Maybe dive deeper into your books as well, and hopefully you'll have done your 3rd one. You know,
it's actually almost out.
Nice.
Yeah, it's almost out. I actually delayed because I was like, let's take time, but it's almost out.
That is so incredible. That is so incredible. So where can people find you? Maybe your social media platforms to see what you're doing?
On Facebook, it's The Wawerus. On YouTube, Fit by Maria and The Wawerus. Anywhere else, I'm Maria Nyambane Waweru.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to look for you and get inspired. You're such a beautiful energy You're a beautiful human, an amazing mom. It doesn't take much to tell even your mind. You're so smart and intelligent. And that's a blessing to sit across you and, you know, hear and learn something tonight. So
Finally, I've met my
no, today's about Maria. Today's about Maria, and I'm sure you guys have, you know, caught up with the conversation, and we didn't even talk about what we came to talk about, but I love the fact that it was such an authentic, you know, conversation around parenting and parenting young kids and boys in that case. If you have a similar story or something you'd like to share with the young people who watch us, reach us on our social handles at Y254, and we'll be happy to host you. I've been your host, Maureen Waititu. Until next time, it's goodbye. Thank you. Thank you.